You will, Loyal, right?
Yep, going live now. What's up and welcome to this special live stream. We are super excited to be here. We wanted to get started for some of you who may not have had the chance to see this great video that kind of gives us a sneak peek on what is the X, kind of a great hype video for some of you who may not know everything that's going on. So let's start with that, and then we'll get to introductions and move from there. So here we go.
Ever since I was a little boy, I've dreamt of becoming a game designer. I imagined designing a game, not where you played a soldier, but a game that would help you become one. My whole life I worked towards that goal. I studied all the greats: Miyamoto, Will Wright, Cliffy B, Carmack.
There is design that could be called art.
You have to study them.
Hideo Kojima.
You have to understand where they're going and where they've been. And then you got to do something that they haven't done. I had to leave Activision in order to make this game. To learn how to design a soldier, I would have to become one. It's a lot harder than you think. Once I understood the true nature of war, I realized I was already in one. And so are you. I'm here to help you. Train you. Give you the tools, the equipment, the weapons to fight your own battle. There's combat all around us. We need to prepare for it.
So that was a very cool introduction to Lieutenant Dan himself.
Let's go.
Very cool background there, and
Let's go.
love it. I think we have a little bit of echo on our end.
I just fixed that.
Cool. But yeah, very cool, Lieutenant Dan. We're happy to have you here on the live stream to teach us more about what is the X, what led you to this project, and just really excited.
Awesome, man. Well, we're happy to have you, Loyal Doyle, hosting this. This is really cool for the people out there that don't know Loyal Doyle. He's an unbelievable content creator, a YouTube content creator as well. Creates a lot of stuff around Upland, and just as you can see him, his quality and his professionalism. We're very lucky to have him introducing us today. So this is exciting. The X, man, I don't even know where to begin sometimes with the X. It's almost been my life journey in to create something like this. I could start. You saw in the video. I was a gamer, since I was a little kid, and I knew I was going to become a game designer, and I worked my whole life to becoming a game designer. I eventually wanted to create a game that could help the user. I always wished, when I was a kid, I grew up in a very turmoil and poor background, and just a lot of violence and a lot of instability in my life growing up. And the only thing I turned to was video games, to like escape my experience that I was having in the real world. But every time I put down my controller, I had to go back to reality, and I had nothing new to take with me. So I just wished a game designer would come along and create a game that could teach me, leadership skills, could teach me how to fight all these bullies that would attack me every day. It was a war zone going to school. I was in 10 different schools, and each one was a war zone. I just wished a game designer would teach me something, man. And that game designer never came. And when I, left, I dropped out of high school and I started working as a tester, and I started working for Acclaim Entertainment. And I said, if that designer is not going to come, I'm going to become him. So I learned everything about the gaming industry, started quality assurance. I got my bachelor's in computer engineering, and I worked my way up the ranks in Activision into their innovations lab. And getting a little back, I think that's Blizzy in the bathroom. Yeah, but I worked my way up, and I really wanted to be on that mission where I could really help the user. And I didn't see any other game designers really doing that. They would tell great stories. And like I said, I studied them all, and they were all creating really badass content and all in their own right. But I didn't see anyone really enhancing the user. And so like when I started working on Marvel titles, I would create these things called hero simulators. And I started with Spider-Man 3, and I was working on motion controllers, trying to let the user feel like a hero. And those hero simulators evolved, and I created a hero simulator for Guitar Hero with our engineering team. We called it Guitar Hero Phoenix, and that was the first. That was my first prototype that I worked on that actually did knowledge transfer. It was at a basic level, but we were able to transfer to the user how to play just basic chords on a guitar. And once I saw it was possible, I wanted to do the same thing with Call of Duty, because whether the gaming industry tells you or not, Call of Duty and Ghost Recon and Rainbow Six and all those first-person shooters are really big recruitment tools for the military. So the recruiters will tell you that's one of their biggest tools for recruitment. And I saw that in my own lobbies. I ran lobbies for all those games: Ghost Recon, Rainbow Six, Splinter Cell, Call of Duty, of course, and I had one of the top servers. So I saw friends and the younger guys going in and joining the Marines and Army, and their introduction to combat was through these games. And so I always thought, well, why can't we give them leadership skills? Why can't we prepare them like MEPS prepares them, like the ASVAB prepares them? Let them understand military tactics like Napoleon did. He was a master mathematician. That's why he was so good at artillery. That's what made him so successful. George Washington, who we're talking to today and minting his cohort, George Washington was more than just a general and a president. He was a philosopher. He was, he wanted to help people. He wanted to train people. And all these great leaders that are part of this collection, it's because they all had these kind of skills that they're passing down to anybody that's in the military studies these generals, and they're learning from them. So I wanted to first start in the past and bring back the memories of these commanders that were valued and that could teach the user basic leadership skills, how they got to where they were, how they did their strategies, their tactics, and how they did their philosophies, their ideologies. Polemology is the study of war, but at a philosophical level and at a tactical level, right? My gamer tag is Polemos. It's there's so much knowledge that can be transferred right now that none of the other first-person shooters are doing it, and that's what the X is going to do.
I love it.
Yeah. So when you put down the controller, when you play the X, when you put down the controller, you're going to know basic skills. Even from a fighting standpoint, I'm going to teach you how to bob and weave. I'm going to teach you how to slip. I'm going to teach you how to rotate your knuckles on track, how you build up your velocities on your punches. I'm going to teach you the basic stuff, which I'm also an MMA kids. I teach kids MMA. You would be astonished how many kids walk into the gym and they don't even know how to walk correctly, heel to toe correctly. They don't know how to stand, their postures. And they're all physiologically, they're deforming. They're looking at their phones. They're growing bone spurs on the back of their necks. They're rounding up so the gravity doesn't even go through them correctly. If we just talk just about physiological stuff that I can help out using motion controllers, I know your position. I know where your head is. That's why I studied virtual reality. That's why I spent over a year. Jimmy's been on the path interviewing every VR company that's the top notch in the military, in the medical space, just to learn so I could become a designer that can give you the tools. There's no one else out there that's doing what I'm doing, or I wouldn't be doing it because it's a burden. It's costing me everything to make this game. And it's because of the user. I have to leave you something. All right? This is my last big game. And then I want to retire and live a normal life. This isn't normal for me. It's all day, every day, grind. And I only do it because of for you, the user.
I love it, Lieutenant Dan. Honestly, I think we all feel your passion. We love and we see it. We see it as well. And so let's jump in and give people a sneak peek of some of the other, here's a quick overview. Again, I think there's some people here who haven't quite seen everything that we have. So this is an introduction as well. So let's jump into this other video and show them some other fun stuff that we have here.
Yes, sir.
Here we go. Let's get this one going. You hear the audio on that all right?
Yes.
I love that. Don't play the hero, become the hero. That's super powerful. And we actually have one of our Legionnaires here with us. We have George Washington.
Yeah, one of our commanders.
Yeah, one of our commanders.
Yes, sir. 100%, 1,000% behind this project, behind Dan, behind the leaders at Block X, Sean Marr. What they're doing with this project's amazing. Super excited to be part of it from the beginning. First to fight.
Let's go.
Honored to have you. George Washington right there has been with us since the beginning. He's helped us create a weapons configurator just to start off with, so we can introduce people from the Web 2 side. So a web browser based gun configurator, weapon configurator, so people would appreciate the weapons more. They know all the bolts, the mechanics, the construction. They would respect the guns a little bit more. And he was on the ground floor, front lines, and he became a commander. And he's still supporting us with everything he's got. And he's been a great commander. And and the team have sought out the commanders for everybody else, for all the other Legionnaires. We wanted to give you 9 diverse, powerful in their own right commanders that had pull in all different spaces, from e-commerce to Web 2 to Web 3 to blockchain to DAOs. And that's the goal for all you Legionnaires. Can lean up and look at your commanders and say, I have something to say, and they'll echo it for you. That's why we got JPEG Poppy. That's why we got motivational speakers and Calvin Becerras to be part of this, because we don't have a voice. I don't even have a voice. I can't echo. I had to find the guys that could, and he's one of them.
I love it. I love that whole message with we're building an army here, and we're teaching people real world skills. So it bridges this gap of, entertainment and real actual skills that you can have in your life to feel like you can,
right. Entertainment and history and education. And when you bring those together, one of the coined terms that I think a lot of people on our team like is edutainment, right? Like, you have this ability to be educated and be entertained, because that really is the value play, right? And that's Dan's mission since he was a kid, right? I wanted a game that taught me how to become the soldier right? Right. Taught me how to become a soldier, not play one. And ultimately, this is a very big ecosystem. This is a social gaming platform, and it's a ramp, and a social hub where we're bringing some of the very best brands from what you see pictured in behind Dan, from Syndicus, one of our leading sponsors. We have some of the best real life brands that are actually digital twinning everything you see behind Dan. Some of it's historic, but a lot of it is actually part and parcel of what's going to be on those Legionnaires. Even a George Washington minted Legionnaire digital collectible. And I know we're going to dive in and kind of lift the veil and show everybody what that looks like. But they're going to have the very DNA of what you see on the screen, the one. Every Legionnaire, there's 6,500 Legionnaires for the initial digital collectible and the first full loadout. And that's really what Dan and the team wants everybody to realize, is that the Legionnaires are really kind of like the top of the food chain. Of course, the legendary commanders, there's 9 of them, and we're here to celebrate George Washington, George Reed, Tony McKnight, and the team that supports and represents George Washington. Oh yeah, look at that! He got his profile pic. He's got that new profile pic.
Looking good.
Yeah.
Oh,
by the way,
artists, man, we've got the total package here, guys. You know, when you listen to Sean and you hear what he's telling you here and how this game's going to work, it'll draw you in. And the fact is we're building our own community, our own army, and we're all going to do business with each other. We're going to help people in the future, right, Dan?
It's already happening in our Discord channel. So all of our suppliers and our sponsors are in their own unit, their own war room, and they're already working together. And these are first responders. These are some are ex-Navy SEAL Team 6 members that started their own companies, veteran-owned companies. There's first responders that are working out at LA County Sheriff's Department. They're trying to build drones. They're trying to battle right now. There's a war going on right now. All right, there's active shooters going on every day. These companies are trying to build drones and surveillance drones to counter attack a lot of the stuff that's happening right now. And now we're giving them a hub, and we hope to grow that hub so they can communicate and work together. Because right now, all they have is the different conventions that they go to. They go there for a day or two, they collaborate really well, and then they go off to their own jobs in their own states, right? Now, we're opening a virtual social hub where the suppliers and the sponsors can talk and congregate and iterate on their designs and make it better for us. And we can also help them iterate on their designs with user testing and feedback in the virtual simulators.
Yeah, that's all for the soldiers, right, Sean? I mean, it's all for the community, for us to better our soldiers, to interact with them, put them in the places for they to win and experience all these different opportunities of these major defense contractors and stuff like that. They come into our world. We can actually, bring them into the soldiers and help benefit them. And if you could just talk a little bit more about the game and what the purpose of it is, Sean, for everybody.
Sure.
Yeah, and I just want to add one more thing before you do that. And you just touched on other suppliers. And in all my years of being involved with crypto projects, NFT projects, Discord channels, I've never seen anything happening like what's happening with our Discord, where we have those suppliers and brands. The representatives are coming in and talking about these real things that they're building, whether they be their drones, like Dan said, to help in these things that need to be addressed in the world, problems we're having, or the Skyrunner, which is this most amazing flying ATV that actually exists, that, companies and, like Red Bull are saying, is amazing. And the Nitro Circus is like, this thing is so badass. And I've never seen that combined in a Discord room where you have a builder of an in real life object and a project like ours doing the digital copies and want to teach people about it, converging. It's a true convergence. Yeah. It's amazing. But yeah, I'll let you go on from there.
It really is. And Jimmy nailed it. It's a convergence of, if everybody just stops and takes a breath and cuts out the hype and all of the, we'll call it the negative Wall Street sentiment about Mark Zuckerberg and the metaverse. We call it a metaphor because it's actually happening, right? It is what it is, right? It's happening in the cloud. It's happening in this new space. where more people consume gaming than all sports put together. I don't know if there's some incredible viewer stats and usage stats and engagement stats around gaming, and really what we're building is a social gaming platform. And what Jimmy said is that it's so genius when you bring those two worlds together, because what we've done is we've created that Web 2 bridge. So you don't have to have a blockchain wallet. You don't have to be a crypto native. This is truly a social gaming, Web3 social gaming platform that has all of the rails, payment rails from Visa, like NFT Pay, one of our partners, our strategic partners. We're actually featured the #1 slot, actually very cool, on NFT Pay right now. It's very cool as one of their drop partners. But ultimately removing that pain and that barrier between the Web 2 audience, meaning when Dan and Jimmy talk about these great brands like Skyrunner, to be able to actually, how many people here, think about it, could be able to take literally a flying Skyrunner? I don't know if we're posting any of this in real time, but when you guys see it, it's unbelievable. We have the digital twin. Think, by being a Legionnaire, by being a part of this community through the George Washington Cohort, which is what we're here again about, that Minta cohort with George Washington, and having the Legionnaire with those traits from that legendary commander, you'll have access, which was the question from George, to actually have that digital twin that Jimmy referred to, that digital copy experience inside our metaphor. Not because you're going to go there to hang out, you're going there to learn. You're going there to connect with these in real life brands that you can never really, when could you drop out of the sky in a Skyrunner ATV? It'd be very hard to get the opportunity to do that. But through the X, you'll have access that only you as a Legionnaire will have access to, these in real life experiences that ultimately bridge the digital to the in real life. And when you take Web 2 and we take people, let's say, that aren't crypto natives, aren't into blockchain or Web 3, guess what? You don't have to be. You can come into this game. You can actually get a Legionnaire on it with a Visa card, right, or a MasterCard or American Express, and you can actually access right through your desktop. You don't even need a VR helmet, and you can experience in what we call XR, which is like a multimedia version of VR. Dan can talk a little bit about that as we go through this, but what you're going to be able to do is experience this across mobile and any other device. It's an true XR experience. Now, having the helmet makes it a truly immersive experience. But when you can connect with these Web 2 brands and you have the ability to have these experiences in the metaverse, and then actually say, you know what, I want to actually pursue this with Syndicus in their actual training facility out in California, where you could do what you did online in the metaphor in real person. That's powerful. And that's what Jimmy was referring to, what George is talking about. But we're tying all that together into a game called The Quest, which is a high stakes strategy game that allows us to give you real immersive experiences right away that will show. We actually have, I think Loyal Doyle's got his hands on an alpha testing video that nobody's seen yet. I think he said he might share that sooner, towards the end.
Well, I mean, with where the conversation's going, I think people want to see what everywhere it's going, see what people are experiencing. But yeah, we can leave the hype till later, or we could jump into that.
Go ahead.
Doyle, Syndicus might be jumping in too. I just shot him a ping just so you guys could hear from one of our suppliers, one of our digital suppliers. Oh, nice.
Oh, he's here.
He's awesome. Guys, let me introduce you guys to one of the founders of Syndicus Defense Corporation. These guys are unbelievable what they're doing. First, they make one of the best American-made AK-47s on the planet. He's a first responder himself out in LA County Sheriff's Office. His name's Andrew. He's a true patriot. And Andrew, I invited you here just to maybe if you could just chat from your perspective, from the supplier's partner perspective, like what it's like to be part of this project, and just your thoughts.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, hey guys, again, it's always a pleasure to get on with you guys. It's a good little journey that we're on. It's only growing. So again, thanks for letting us on, Dan, and for the rest of the guys at the X. From our perspective, man, this is cool. This is really revolutionizing what we're doing in the weapons industry. I mean, SHOT Show 2023 is coming up, and I'm bored of it. I'm bored of it because I've been going there for almost 9 years, and it's kind of like, well, at what point do you start to change things up? And our industry is so stuck on the same thing over and over and over again that it's like, okay, well, things are going to be changed up. So what we're doing here is completely different. And from a supplier's point of view, getting our name and our brand and our weapons out there is huge. It's different. It's unique. It's exciting. It's actually led me to a lot of different opportunities just by doing this. You know, getting to meet Dan and getting into this industry was an opportunity in itself. Someone gave us a chance. They invited us out to Epic Shoot. We had gone 3 years in a row, and this last year when we all met and kind of collaborated and started working together. And I'll be very honest, I was very skeptical. I'm like, man, I did good on crypto. Like, that's great. Like, my master's is in cybercrime, so I understand this world. I just don't know if I'm ready to jump in on it. And I don't know, Dan and I just clicked very well. And I said, you know what, let's take another chance. I'm already this far deep in the rabbit hole. Let's just keep going. So I did, and I'm glad I did. My team's glad we did. Just bringing out our guns in itself, the Grizzly, the Bravo, and our new P47, just on this spectrum. And one of the things I've been talking to Dan about, and I'll mention it, I can't get into too much detail, is Syndicus evolved. We used to be Brown Bear Armory. Like you said, everything's American made. Quality comes in it. We don't back off from quality, and we don't back down from our concepts. Everything we do is to perfection, and there's a reason for it. We're trying to bring back that American motto. When we do it right. End of story. And if we screw up by chance, the customer's right. We fix it. We make them happy. And that's how we do business, period. And we want to bring that back and keep that strong. So when we started it, we started off as Brown Bear. We started to figure out, hey, we got to come to our own. We got to figure out what we want to do. And we want to expand. And we want something stronger, something more finesse, something elegant, and something powerful. So we kept looking at different companies, right? And I'll be honest, I like fancy stuff now. You know, Hermes is good, YSL, Gucci, those are all great. But I started to think, I'm like, what do these brands have in common? Like, why are people so in love with these brands? They don't even look at the price. And it just came to me. I'm like, well, if we have a badass logo, a badass name, there's meaning behind it, and there's quality, what more do we need? So,
and Andrew, to tell us a little bit about your backstory.
Trying to find something unique. Oh yeah. Just to give you just a rewind real quick. I studied engineering in college. I switched it up. Ended up going to school in Boston, Spanish for the professions, and then I ended up going to get my master's in cybercrime from Boston University. I ended up being a cop just by pure luck. My dad was like, hey, dude, you're back from college. That's great. Woohoo. I'm glad you had fun. It's either you get a job and you're out in 6 months, or you sign up for the sheriff's department. You can live here for free for a year. I said, oh, okay, cool. Free. I'll take that all day long. So I was in the academy like within 2 months. And I've been in everything you could think of in LA. Everything. I've worked Compton, Watts, Lakewood, Paramount, all the bad cities that people will see in the movies. Like, I've done it. I've been humbled. I've been blessed. I've been brought down from my high horse too at that, and I've learned a lot. One of the things that led to a lot of this is my injury. After the riots, I was in the riots for 26 days. After that, I got hurt on a call for service, and I've had 3 surgeries. So it really pushed me to do something other than what I'm doing now. And for the very fact that we all get older, right? We all encounter injuries and stuff and whatnot. But I knew I wanted to stick within the realm of helping people. So one of the things was, hey, let's make a better weapon for our people, for our military, for our law enforcement officers. And fast forward back to where I was at, we came up with the new name Syndicus, right? A common group of people coming together for one purpose. And we went with the Latin base because we wanted to stay true to the values. And it just started picking up from there. We went to Epic Shoot. I met Dan. I met Tony McKnight, Sherry McKnight, Tony Semina. Ended up working big gun guy out in Florida. Ended up being on the same SWAT team as my cousin. I had the opportunity to meet some of these big time characters in Call of Duty who I'm also good friends with. So that passion started growing. And my wife was a big part of that too. She has her own Instagram page. She's also a deputy sheriff. She has a huge platform for females in uniform, and she's really passionate about that and really in the game to do all that kind of stuff and be there for them. So she's been a great help, a great supporter of everything we do. And to kind of shoot you in the direction that Syndicus is going is we want to be more than just a gun company. We want to be a defense company. So just to kind of give you a little quick run through, we have our manufacturing. We have our Cerakote. We do full Cerakote. All my guys are Cerakote certified. They went up to Oregon to go train. I have a full shoot house. It's a Sims UTM shoot house with 8 rooms, 6 hallways, a command center, and a classroom. And this is important because Dan and I have been talking about how to integrate this in the meta world and make this part of an experience, not only a virtual one, but a real one. So we've been working on that. And then lastly, my baby, I'm able to share the name now, so I will. I've been working on my drone, and this is a huge passion for me, probably more than my guns. I was in charge of doing our DFR program at LA County Sheriff's Department. They wanted a drone program. They wanted the things to get up and running, and we got slammed down, kicked to the curb because of our past sheriff and because of just the way California is and LA County is. So I said, you know what? I don't lose. I'm going to make my own drone. So I did. In the last 11, 12 months, I've been developing my own drone. I'm proud to say his name is Jarvis, and he is going to be the first DFR drone for first responders, made by a first responder, by first responder.
It's awesome, Andrew. You're breaking up just a little bit,
awesome.
but freaking
Jarvis, I'm feeling it.
Dude, and he's been showing me like the updates through the process. These guys are building it, and I mean this one experience. I won't talk too much because I don't want to give it too much away. But Andrew's talking about
sneak peek of it, but it's our next project, and it's our push for the development of first responders and bringing that safety aspect and that chance for people to live. And we did kind of steal this model. This part of Syndicus, the UAS program, is so others may live, and that's the goal, is developing a drone to save people's lives, give them that extra couple minutes, couple hours in a natural disaster to find them, bring them home, get them safe. So sorry, I know I talked a lot, but I just kind of want to throw that in a nutshell what we're doing.
No, that's awesome. Thanks for dropping that premiere.
Thank you, Andrew. We saw it first.
Yeah,
I think that's a really good. I think this is a really good time maybe to actually show this video that I saw earlier today, where you actually see people testing out what it's like experiencing the digital version of using real world, products, real world weapons, real world training that you can actually get your hands on. And so this is really what, for me, helped me start to see the big picture here of what is the X and why is the X partnering with these real world companies and then making digital versions of them, and what can that actually do for us. So let's first actually show you, because this really was a big tie-in for me to actually see, okay, what are people's experiences like when they actually get their hands on this stuff. So let's show a section of this video here really quickly.
I can move everything I gotta move. I can jump, I can stand up, I can go down. Yeah, this is awesome. This is very, very cool.
Thank you. It's coming along. We got some better stuff coming too, man.
No, this is legit. This
Our project,
cool.
the X, is going to freaking revolutionize this stuff.
That is awesome. I can see you training people with this. Like, I can see that happen for sure. It does everything I wanted it to do. It was that was awesome. That was a cool experience.
Thank you.
That's a cool experience.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Like looking through your aiming or what?
Yeah, you can look through the name. Yeah. There we go.
I'm fucking shit up now.
Yes. There we go.
Chuck Liddell.
And let me pick it up where.
Okay.
But then
Let's
I
go.
was shooting it and it dropped.
Oh, this is something.
Right?
Yeah.
context to that. So that
Feels pretty good, right?
It's really cool.
You like it?
I like the bow a lot, yeah.
You like the bow and arrow a lot? Feels pretty real, right?
Right. It's really cool.
All right, so what's one feature you would love to see in there? In the game?
Able to go hunting
Hunting?
or shooting ski like out there.
Would you want to hunt with bow and arrow or a rifle?
Both.
Both. All right, and what kind of animals?
Deer,
Deer.
rabbits, bears,
Deer, rabbits, and ducks.
and ducks, and doves.
What about buffalo?
Oh,
Sure.
buffalo, yes.
Buffalo.
Sitting Bull's experience.
Hand, right hand. There you go. All right. So generally you're squeezed to grab a gun, like walk up and see there's guns on the table there. So with your right hand, you gotta walk up and grab with your grip, just like you grab it, like this part here.
Oh, I got it. Holy shit.
You gotta put a magazine in it.
Easy.
There's magazines to the left, so walk up with your left hand, grab a magazine. Put it in. There you go.
Whoa. Oops, I let it go.
That's okay, we can get more. There's plenty just in case. Everyone drops them at first.
So do you have to hold it and you shoot it like this, huh?
Yeah, that part with the controllers is still really getting there. This is alpha. But you may have to rack it. Did you rack?
No.
So grab it, just like you would. Just kind of just grab. There you go. Wow. Now you're live.
Dude, this is freaking awesome.
You guys have made Ryan happy.
I know.
That doesn't happen very
So
often.
this is actually green light. It's not even alpha yet, but we understand how.
Yeah.
And then it really does slide locks back.
Yeah.
This is actually
you can actually drop it with that drops the clip. Did it?
Wow.
Okay, so we'll be able to do it with no controllers, but there's so many actions and weapons. So it's
I grab that dude. So I can cut him. Yeah, shove a knife through his head.
Holy shit!
Oh my god. Back up a little bit.
Back up.
There you go.
This is probably a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. Right? Imagine if I was hammered, I'd be breaking the TV.
Oh my god! You notice there's actually feels like there's feedback. Yeah. Okay.
This is amazing. Okay, I'm getting it now. All right, where's this slaughterhouse Ryan went to? It just leads to a person that's a gamer, but it's different because you're used to just a controller. And like when people even ask me like, hey, what button shoots this way? I'm like, I don't know. It's muscle memory. But so once you kind of get in the groove of it, it starts to feel in place. So it's really immersive though. I was impressed.
I agree. It was it becomes easier when you're doing it. So now I understand. Like when you grab the knife, you could see it. It was all there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I was shocked by the amount of detail that's in it in terms of the mechanics. You're not just running in, grabbing up a gun and looking at it and shooting it. You're getting the gun, you're grabbing a magazine, you're loading the magazine, you're pulling the slide back. You can even, if you do it again, another bullet's coming out because it's one of the chamber.
Which adds to the immersion.
Exactly, and that's what it's all about. And the fact that you're going to be able to go see the kind of gun you want, see how it looks in your hands, put different custom stuff on it, whether it's an optic, whether it's a light, different colors. It's really cool, and I think it's a huge step towards where the industry could be heading.
Couldn't agree more.
And the difference in this one versus the one I did before, I didn't want to leave this one. I kept wanting to stay here and be there, which is the whole point, is that you want people to be in there. So well done. Awesome. Well done.
Yeah, well done.
Cool. Very
Yeah,
cool.
that's awesome, man.
Thanks
That's
for throwing
awesome.
that up there, Doyle.
Very cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have not yet experienced it myself, but I'm super antsy at this point.
Well, let me just touch a couple things real quick from my
Yeah, and I was just
perspective.
gonna say real quick, the big difference with our testing grounds are with those professionals, those enthusiasts. Those are the real people that use the real weapons, and they're testing it, not someone that doesn't have the experience, and they're seeing this is what I want to see in an experience like this. It works properly. The magazine's loading, the everything about the weapons, the real life operations of them is what we went with, the realism.
I'll just say from my perspective too, that first experience never left my brain. The opportunity behind that, that somebody needed to hear about it, and then meeting Sean and being part of this thing coming from beginning to now, to see all the people that are involved with it, it's taken a life of its own. But the purpose of this whole entire project is, from what Dan's energy said from the beginning, is to really educate people. And you see those kids there and the effect that we can have on our youth, and to be able to bring history back, like in real life, for these kids and for the younger community. I believe the purpose is to save history and to document it on the blockchain and write it in here the way it's been written already. We're not even like making up our own. All we got to do is tell the story of George Washington at his monument. Those kids walk up there and they speak to him in an elementary class, and he says, "Oh, by the way, at 8:00 tonight, I'm going across to Delaware with all you that want to come." Right. And being able to experience a real experience like that is amazing. So the people you heard about, the product you heard about, but the purpose is bigger than, I think, even the monetary side of it. But if Sean, if you don't mind, talk about the pay and the opportunity behind for some of these commanders and some of these soldiers in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So not so much termed as pay, but ultimately how, as legendary commanders, there's an opportunity to be a part of this ecosystem. So that will be something we would unpack on a separate call, because it's much more extensive. So anybody that's on this call, or on the stream, and interested in a legendary commander, we have minted 5 of those. And those legendary commanders are the founding fathers, like George Washington, in our actual ecosystem. And we've minted Joan of Arc, we've minted Leonidas, we've minted Alexander the Great, we've minted George Washington, we've minted Napoleon. We have just a few more left right behind that, from Genghis Khan to Sitting Bull to Julius Caesar. And the opportunity with legendary commanders is far different than it is as a Legionnaire. What's great about Legionnaires is that there's 6,500 of those versus 9. There's actually 10 legendary commanders. There's the one, which is behind Dan, which is what the Quest game is all built around. So when George talks about earning, the chance to potentially earn $150,000 in cash, crypto, in real life gear from our suppliers, and the actual one legendary commander, where you earn the coveted title of the one and control and actually command our first Legion, the 10th, which is what the X is all about. It's the 10th. It's Julius Caesar's Legion. It's everything that Dan has worked for the past 10 years to bring to fruition. And there's part of the scavenger hunt in that 10, but we're gonna stay focused on the 9 legendary commanders. But there's the one, and the 9 legendary commanders, like George Washington, has a cohort. We take 6,500 Legionnaires, what makes it possible for many more active users, actual holders that want to be a part of the ecosystem and participate in this Web3 gaming social platform, and actually be able to play the Quest, which is what George is referring to, and earn potentially $150,000 in this high stakes strategy game, where you'll be able to have these. You've seen some of the immersive experiences. That's part of the gameplay. That's actual live gameplay that will be incorporated into different social gaming aspects. Like we have our big Loyal Doyle is one of the big voices and big influencers within the Upland community. It's got the most daily active users of any metaverse on the planet. And we're really excited about our partnership there and what we're building with our Upland mini game that goes live, alpha test on the 22nd. You'll be able to actually go to different X outposts in different metaverses with it's interoperable, and actually play the mini games and actually participate in the Quest, where you will actually be able to take and play the game across many metaverses, Discord, Twitter, and ultimately a scavenger hunt. Easter egg has, if people here have seen Ready Player One, a page out of that book, in essence, to be able to take your Legionnaire, gain access, not only experience all of these different brands like Andrew and Syndicus, and actually go into the shoot house inside of the Metafort, and then maybe translate that because you love it so much, and you actually learn the real fundamentals of gun safety and being able to move through that shoot house, that it's so motivating to you that you make it out to one of our first events out there with Andrew in person in a private experience. That's the power of the Legionnaire. And guess what? there might be part of that scavenger hunt quest game that happens live at that actual shoot house. So our gameplay in the beginning isn't just like getting a Call of Duty or another title, spending $70, then spending hundreds of dollars or thousands in build outs. Ultimately, what it allows you to do is begin to play the social game that's going to be incorporated across many platforms, including our own Metaphor, incorporated with these Web 2 and Web 3 brands and all these great leaders like George Washington and all the people that Dan mentioned. So with that said, this becomes a much more inclusive opportunity when you take the 6,500 Legionnaires, but by the way, will all carry traits from their 9 legendary commanders. And right now, George Washington's Mint to Cohort is open, which allows you to mint your Legionnaire using a credit card or a crypto wallet. If you're into crypto and you have any type of wallet, you can use that to connect, and you can mint and know that you're in control of that mint, and you're going to get an actual George Washington Legionnaire, meaning you'll carry DNA. And we were on the call the other day. It was so incredible watching our NFT configurator and what Mode Meta built, the technology behind this and the brands behind it. We can go on and on and on, but we have limited time today. So the NFT configurator creates almost 1 billion combinations. That's not an exaggeration. 1 billion combinations of all the different traits that Dan and his team of digital assassins, artists that are the top AAA artists in the space that are building. Sometimes they spend months on one helmet, and you can see all of this. Dan's going to lift the veil here in just a minute and show a little bit of the actual. There we go. Yeah, he's going to show a little bit of some of the actual Legionnaires. There we go, and it will carry the George Washington traits, and you may get the actual different traits well mixed in with the modern and the actual historic, and all of those create a very unique Legionnaire, as unique as each individual. And that Legionnaire, won't be one of the same. They're all unique, and they're all generated with this Mode Meta configurator that is a breakthrough in generative art and how we can build this on the Unreal Engine. And why that's important, the Unreal Engine is ultimately, and I'll let Dan talk about it, Dan, if you want to talk about why building this on the Unreal Engine is so important and the difference compared to what people interpret as an NFT.
Real quick, even dumb it down even a little bit further, is when we talk about the Legionnaires, yes, there's a quest to find the one, and whoever finds that one is going to have a lot of responsibility, and he's going to have an army to run. All right, so it's going to take a special individual to become the one. But not only that, each Legionnaire, we're more than an NFT. I don't even like you putting us into that category. We're a digital collectible that has a smart contract, and our smart contract has a lot of unique details to it, and one of its ranking systems. So right now there's already Legionnaires that are already private first classes that have already gained rank. You as a Legionnaire can become a general. All right, the one is a 5-star general. The commanders are 4-star generals, and there's all those rankings in between, and you can earn those. Not only in the game, we're not even playing the game yet, and they're earning ranks. They're earning ranks for helping people out in the Discord, for being a good voice in this space, to talk, to really support each other and other collections as well. So each Legionnaire has the ability to become an officer and to lead himself. In Call of Duty and all these other games, you prestige, and what do you get? You get a badge, and you get to play the game all over. How about if you end up winning this game and you become a general and go through the whole ranking system, you could put down that controller, and I guarantee you're going to have some leadership and strategy skills that you didn't have when you picked up that controller. So that's even more important than anything else. The engine we use is the UE5 engine. It's the most powerful engine on the planet. It's run by Tim Sweeney. He was a real patriot himself, man. He stands up to the bullies. He stands up to the guys, I'm not going to knock Apple, but Apple's very, they take a lot from the app developers. It's hard. I've developed apps on the iPhone, and you have to pay extra money just to be testing on their products. And Tim Sweeney stood up to the bullies. He stands up to the big guys, and he created that from the ground up with top guys. And that's the engine we're behind too, and we're using it because he was the first one to make his engine accessible to the masses and not charge them any money. No other gaming company did that. He wants us developers to succeed. He has enough money. He understands that. He's not like other developers that are just take. He wanted to give back to us. And he did.
And look at the beauty that you get out of these assets that you can run through this engine, and some of the top games in Web 2 are all running on this engine. So
yes, sir. Yes,
very powerful.
Real quick, Sean, it's 8 o'clock. Do we have a hard stop for JPEG Poppy's spaces? I'm not sure.
We do. I'm in there. I'm gonna actually go log out as Blizzly and log back in as the XNFT. But if Dan, you can jump over there because they may pull you up first. But we can wrap this up if you want to jump over there, Dan, so he sees you. And
well, do we have anything? Any final words from George Washington himself? We're doing a mint to Cohort, to George Washington's Cohort. It's amazing. I mean, we have his battle sword, we have his dress sword, we have his West Point pistol, all digitally twinned. We have his life mask digitally twinned. Everything. His horse, Nelson. So.
Sorry, guys.
No worries. It's an amazing cohort. If you're looking to mint to a cohort, George Washington's one of our founding fathers, and he has a powerful cohort coming online. So if you are looking to get into digital collections, there's no better one right now just to pop in and get under, one of our founding fathers right here.
And sometimes it takes a little bit more for somebody to be first. They have to believe in the people. And you heard from the people tonight. I would say that these 6,500 soldiers that we are going to be interviewing, collecting, and coming aboard us, these also people are going to be the kind of folks that you want to hang around. By that, I mean, as they're already donating their time, they're gaining ranks, right? I would tell you also that there's people that Dan's looking at to bring aboard for his company, and Sean's bringing aboard.
Yes, sir.
And guess who they're going to pick from? They're going to choose the people that are out there helping them fight right now. So there's a lot more here to be discussed. And anybody that I've asked to come here tonight, I really do appreciate it because you mean a lot to me. That's why I called you and asked you to come here tonight. But it's bigger than us because I believe that we're really on to something here, a new community and a new platform that we as a community can trust. So thanks, guys.
You got that right. Thanks, George. Absolutely. And Dan, you can jump on there. I'm on hold and I haven't been called up yet, but you can jump over. And anybody that's listening to this, if you want to jump onto Twitter, if you guys want to jump over to Twitter, you can jump onto Trading Tuesday with JPEG Poppy, and you can hear Dan again. He's going to be introduced. It's a really big night over there. They're giving away. They have like I think a dozen giveaways. So it's a really exciting night at Trading Tuesdays, JPEG Poppy. Look it up on Twitter. It's Spaces. Maybe somebody could pop a link in.
Follow
and I'm
the
going to be
on Twitter.
Yeah, and I'm going to be getting called up here in just a second, but they did call Dan up, so that's great to see. So just in closing here, so that way we can do a proper closing and not be so rushed. I will say that this is a much bigger project than even we tonight had the ability to dive into. Dan couldn't even lift the veil and show you the metaphor and give you a real live, actual experience in the metaphor, and you got to see the Legionnaire, and that's a digital collectible that's going to grow past many iterations of VR and technology. It's only showed in 1K. It can be shown in 8K. We don't even have the technology to show it out. So this is a real asset that will grow, a digital asset that's the reason why the blockchain is important is that's provenance, that's ownership, and that's a digital asset that's immutable. It can't be broken up, and it's owned by you if you mint that. Even if you use a credit card, it can be invisible to you in the back end, but that's the power of the blockchain, and it gives you the ability to own an asset, be able to potentially sell that asset, and be able to one day build and accumulate value around that asset through going through the game, going through these experiences, earning the native token, which will be used kind of like a V-Buck or our own ecosystem. And ultimately the earning that George referred to was that in-game earning asset, which will be like our in-game V-Bucks that will grow in value with the Legionnaire as it goes through different quests and different challenges. And it completes different things like in the gun range where you actually have to learn how to take a weapon apart, put it back together before you can start blasting it off like the guy said in the video. All of these things are all made accessible through that Legionnaire. without that Legionnaire, you won't get these access. You won't get these immersive VR experiences. You won't be able to play the game. You will eventually be able to enter the fort, but you won't get these accesses, and you won't get the actual, which is most important, is that actual digital collectible that there'll only be in this first mint 1,500 of the first to fight, and there's only so many that can be in George Washington's cohort. So we if you choose to enlist and join us, it's an incredible journey. We're having a lot of fun, and there's a lot of learning involved, but there's also a lot of fun, as you saw with Jimmy and everybody. So it's not just celebrity and kids. You will have a blast with this project, and get in our Discord. I did put it into on the YouTube chat. Get on our Discord, get on our Twitter, dig deep. You're going to learn so much, and we have so much content. I promise you, you'll quit before you get through our entire Twitter feed tonight.
Yeah, I also just dropped a link to the website for everyone here in chat. So the website can link you to everywhere. It can link you to the Discord. It can link you to the Twitter. So as long as you can get there, make sure you're at the right website. You can find anything and everything from there. So click around, see there's lots of other videos. There's lots more content out there. We were just able to very briefly brush the surface of everything that's actually being worked on here. So very exciting. And thank you everyone for being here. Really appreciate you taking the time to watch it if you made it this far, and hope that we were able to get you excited about the future of what's to come here.
Long live the X,
Long live
Jimmy.
the X.
Long live the X.
Thanks, Doyle.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Fantastic, Loyal Doyle.